Yeah, right. Okay. Good evening, everyone. How are we doing? How's been our day? You're very welcome to School of Parenting. Jesus. You're very welcome to School of Parenting with Dumibi. If you see me for the first time, you're very, very welcome. So I hope you can hear me. I hope you can see me. If you can see me, if you can hear me, can you please put it in the comment section? Let me even be sure that the comment section is working. Can I see comments in the comment section? I just want to be sure that the comment section is fine and that you can hear me and see me clearly. Yes, so it takes intentionality to be here. It takes intentionality to seek knowledge. So I do not take your time for granted and I appreciate you doing this with me. Honestly, it takes intentionality to raise a child, from 0 to 18 years. So today, we're going to be learning a very important tool that will help us secure our children's future. Remember, I often say parenting is not about now, but about the future. It's about seeing your child 10 years, 15 years, 20 years down the line, and having that assurance that your child is, everything about your child is fine in terms of you raising your child. Oh, thank God. The comment section is working. Thank you so much, Bethany. In terms of raising your child holistically, and when I say holistically, I mean raising your child spiritually, physically, mentally, socially, academically, and financially. So today we're going to be learning one of the tools that will help us secure our child's future. It's going to be a tool for insurance. Insurance. We need insurance as a tool to secure our children's future. We don't want to see our children maybe 10 years, 15 years down the line, and we are we are full of regrets, hisses, tears and all of that. That is not what we want. That is not what I want. I don't know about you, but I know that is not what you want. We want a situation whereby when we see our children in years to come, we'll be proud with confidence to say, well done me. I have done well. As a mother, well done me. As a father, I have done well. As a parent, I have done well in raising my children, because there will be this sense of fulfillment that you will know that you've played your role. So join me tonight as we look at one of the aspects of that will give you like that peace of mind, that you've done your job as a parent. So we're looking at that too. And our guest speaker is gonna she's gonna pour her words of knowledge on us tonight. I can assure you that. So make sure you have your see. I've got my pen and paper, so grab yours. And once again, thank you so much for joining me. And please do me well to share this video, live streaming, share it, subscribe if you haven't, and then invite friends and well wishers. Yeah. So before we start, I would like to I'd like you to know a little bit about our guest speaker. It's important we know who will be pouring her wealth of knowledge on us. So just give me a few minutes. So our guest speaker is Sandra Gold Itoha Ihalo. I hope I pronounced it well. Sandra Gold Itoha Ihalo is a wife of one husband and a mother of her two pretty girls. Sandra Gold Itoha holds a degree in accountancy from the Great University of Benin. She also holds a certificate in human resource management from UNICAF, and she's a UK trained insurance consultant. Sandra Gold Itoha is a customer service manager and currently works as part of the compliance and incident reporting specialized team at Tesco Customer and Colleagues Engagement Center, UK head office. Wow. Sandra Gold Itoha is an award-winning insurance consultant with Tavic Stock Protect Limited. She has access to a full panel and so can give her clients multiple choice amongst insurance providers all over the UK. Wow, wow. Sandra Gold Itoha has worked as a business development manager in an advertising firm, the past, and customer experience specialist, among many other positions. And she's a customer-focused person and has a personal drive for excellence. Sandra Gold is a serial entrepreneur and the CEO of Sandra Gold International. Wow, that is loaded. Well done, Sandra Gold. That is loaded. I'm coming from consultations. So that's just a little about our guest speaker. She's loaded, like I said, she's going to pour her wealth of knowledge on us tonight. If you don't have your paper, please quickly grab one because I'm about to bring her on board now. Yeah. So please, with a warm help me welcome, or as I bring her on stage, just help me give her some love, show her some love. Yeah, here she is. Hey, she's here. Good evening, Sandra Good. How
Hi,
are you doing?
good evening. I'm all right. Thank you.
How's been your day?
Very well. Thank you. Thank you so much for
Good to
having
see
me.
you. Thank you so much for doing this for us. We appreciate you. We do not take your time for granted. We are very grateful. And I say we
Thank
count it a very big privilege to have you on board. So once
you.
again, thank you.
Thank you. The pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much, Maybe you're doing so much for School of
You're very
Parents.
welcome.
Maybe. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So the floor is yours now. Yeah.
Okie doke. Thank you very much, Maybe. Thank you all for joining. As many that has joined, thank you so much for joining. And I'll beg that you pardon my voice. I might do a bit of squishing in between. For
We
some reason,
understand.
for some reason, there's something in there that's refusing to come out. So, in case you feel you hear me do that, don't be worried for me. I'm absolutely fine.
Can I get you coffee or chocolate?
It
Hot
would be
chocolate.
nice if you can pass it
That might
over
help.
virtually. To be nice, but I
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
glass of water nearby if it gets really bad.
Uh,
Um, Thank you so much for having me, Dumibi. Thank you so much. You do a lot for
you're
School of
very
Parenting.
welcome.
It's a lot of intentionality
Yeah.
to do what you're doing, and it's worthy of praise to see how much you pour in, how much you learn to teach, because you need to know to teach. I mean, I won't be talking about insurance today if I had no idea what it's about. So thank you. I don't know if all your guests do this, but it's a good opportunity to say thank you for all you do for parents and teaching us all about being intentional parents.
Thank you, Sandra.
So, without further ado, I wish I could share my screen with everyone, but I can't. So, I will, I will just speak through. We want to talk about insurance. The title of today's session, it says, "No insurance, double tragedy." No insurance, double tragedy. I mean, we live in the UK for the most of us. Pardon me if you don't live in the UK and if you're joining from anywhere, any other part of the world. But I'm sure if you know anything about insurance, it's the fact that it is risk transference. You're transferring the risk. In fact, I usually say insurance is that one thing sometimes that you have that you really don't wish you will use. But it is better you have it and not use it and not need it than to need it and not have it. That's when
Hmm.
it becomes a double tragedy. It is better you have it and don't need it, don't ever need it. I mean, it's there, but if you need it and you don't have it, then it is really, really double tragedy because some persons get disqualified from getting insurance. I mean, something they would have been able to do much earlier in life when they were much healthier and stuff like that. But somewhere along the line, they're disqualified from getting one. So it is better you have it and not need it than to need it and not have it again.
Mhm.
So I will just go on to talking about what is insurance. Introduction. I'm just going to do a wee bit of introduction first. We understand that insurance can often be shrouded in mystery and complexity. I mean, that's why we do what we do, right? We're not called consultants for nothing. Leaving us with questions such as how does it work? What benefits does it offer? How does one go about selecting the most suitable insurance coverage? School of Parenting with Do Maybe has graciously organized this live session to help you answer some of those questions, to help us, get more insights as to what insurance is about. What does it even mean? Insurance. What is this insurance, and how does it benefit my children? Focus for today is our children, right? It will benefit us and then our children as well. Right? And so we are here today. Our society could hardly function without insurance. There would be so much uncertainty, so much exposure to sudden, unexpected, possibly catastrophic loss that
Hmm.
it would be difficult for anyone to plan with confidence for the future. It would be very difficult for you to plan with confidence for the future without insurance. Most importantly, it will be difficult to obtain credit or financing, given the reluctance of lenders or investors to risk funds without assurance of investment security. I mean, who wants to give somebody money without the insurance that the person is going, without the assurance that the person will be able to pay back, or that when the person passes on, they will still be able to get their monies back? Upon purchasing insurance, you receive an insurance policy, a legally binding contract between you and your insurance provider. In a covered loss, upon filing a claim, the insurance company disburses funds to you or a designated beneficiary, which is what we're talking about today, your children, or a designated beneficiary as per the policy terms. Depending on the policy terms, that's what that means. So, without further ado, what is insurance? Insurance is a contractual agreement between an individual or a business entity and an insurance firm aimed at providing financial protection and mitigating risks associated with specific situation or events. Well, you might need to go back and listen again to this particular live.
Absolutely. Got the terms there.
As
Please break it down for us.
I wouldn't like to repeat myself so much because we have quite a lot to cover and we wouldn't want to keep you on for so long as well.
We'll try as much as we can to just break it,
We'll try
all
as
those
much as
heavy
we
words,
can.
just simplify it for us to understand. All those entities.
So insurance is an agreement you have with an provider, right?
Okay.
An agreement. It's a legal binding agreement. So the insurance company will not say, no, I'm not doing again after you have started, right? You can decide to say, I'm not paying anymore, and so I want to end it. Do you understand? So it's more dependent on you than it actually is on the provider. Once you have signed those dotted lines, you have taken out the policy, you have entered a contractual agreement. That is the summary of all the jargons that I said earlier.
Now I understand you. Like
So
I understand very well now.
bring me back if I go over and above. So
Okay.
it's a financial safety net that helps you and your loved ones and your children recover after something bad and unforeseen happens. Right? It's a financial safety net. A financial safety net that helps helps you recover after something bad has happened. For instance, example, fire, there's been a fire, there's been a theft, you've been involved in a car accident, you sadly pass away. Now that's a topic not many of us want to talk about, but we will talk about it today. You sadly pass away, you lose your job, you're not able to provide for your family as normal, you're critically ill and unable to walk, So those are some of the things that makes us want to take out insurance policies. Okay. Continuing broadly, there are mandatory insurance policies, mandatory ones because the government has made it legally required. A lot of us will be driving around without car insurance if it was not mandatory. And if you're caught without one, you're fined, right? So we make that has been legally made mandatory. And we also have the home insurance. You should insure your home. Once you buy a house, you need to insure your home. And then we also have the social insurance, which is the NI that most of us pay if you work. Okay. The optional insurance, but very important. Now, this is where you need to plan your own family, right? They're optional, but they are extremely important. Nobody's going to come after you, chasing you for not having it. But this is where intentional parenting comes in. The optional but very important ones are the life insurance, critical illness insurance, mortgage insurance, private medical insurance, dental insurance, contents insurance, income protection, travel insurance, amongst others. There are loads of insurance policies out there. But we're going to concentrate today on two major ones. Those are the ones that will affect our families directly, right?
So are these types of insurance?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are all types of insurance, and there are many more. There are lots more than what I've listed out. And I had to cut it short because we want to concentrate on just two particular ones today for our loved ones, our children, our little babies, that we do, the reasons we go out, coming back, working, traveling, the reasons we do all that, the two that can help us protect their future. Today, we're going to talk about life insurance. I wish I could share my screen really, because there's just this picture that that I put up with the life insurance. It's I'll describe it. It's a plant, like that just started sprouting. Okay, so you see when you put a seed of beans in the ground, it starts to grow like a flower, and then it begins to have fruits. Now, we all are born to die. Yes. Right? So there's a time to put that seed in the ground. There's a time for it to grow. We're children. We became teenagers. We became adults. Now we're married, became parents. If you're not married, you're a single parent, but you have somebody else depending on you, you are eventually going to die. Unfortunately, we are not able to tell when that time would be. That is the purpose for insurance planning. Okay, so we're not able to tell. I mean, we're healthy today, sick people die, healthy people die, accidents happen, things happen, organs pack up, unplanned, unprepared. So life insurance, we're going to be talking about two of those insurances today, which is life insurance and then the critical illness insurance. I'll start from the first one, life insurance. Okay, so say for instance that sadly you pass on. I say sadly I pass on because people don't like it when I say you when I'm using passing on.
God forbid.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm going to say me now. Sadly, I pass on. If I pass on, for instance, my children are not, their lives are not going to end. Their life
Mm,
is not going to end. Their life is not going to end, right? They will still need to go to school. They will still need to
mm,
eat. They will still need to live under a roof, right? They will still need their basic necessities. So, what happens if I'm not there? If sadly I kick the bucket and I'm not there for them, and they're still really young, they're not 20, 22, which is still really young. They're not 30, 35, which is even still really young because our children depend on us practically like for life. I mean, we live from taking care of our children, excuse me, from taking care of our children to taking care of grandchildren.
mm.
And then
Parenting is
if we live,
lifelong. Yeah,
and
it's a
then if
lifelong
you live,
journey.
it's a lifelong parenting is a lifelong thing. And then
Yeah.
if you live long enough, you take care of great grandchildren, you know, which would be a privilege. It would be a great privilege because some people didn't even live enough to be parents at all, you know.
Mm,
So you want to have a protection in place so that when you sadly pass on, your children are able to inherit some form of finance that can help, settle some of those bills and stuff. They are schooling. They will still go to school. They will do university and everything they want to do. Unfortunately, I have a very personal sad story about my parent, my mom specifically not having insurance. She was such an up and about person that people thought, we would think she's very strong, nothing did happen. Okay. And then she became ill, and in 4 months, she was gone.
your mom.
Yes, my biological mom. She
Oh,
was gone 24 years. She's been gone 24 years. I was
wow.
barely 16, you know. And this is somebody that has planned out our lives, that at 20, 21 would have finished university with masters and all that because we had really smooth journey with university and everything. And she was focused on helping families, friends, doing everything for everybody. Those seeds that you sow that you feel, if I'm not there, this one will take care of my children. You can't, that's not money that you can, it's not a legally
No
binding,
guarantee.
it's
No
not a legally
guarantee.
binding contract. There's no guarantee that it's going to happen, you know so which is one of the passion, the reason I ventured into this and want to know a lot. And as soon as it may be called, I answered, even though not
Yeah,
immediately because my
yeah.
my schedule was a bit tight, because
Mm-hmm.
this is something that I have personally experienced. I know what life, it could have been worse if not for the grace of God. It could have been worse. I could have turned out to be something else entirely, because I mean, at 16, what could I do?
That's quite young.
Yeah. At 16, just coming out of the secondary school, spent 4 years in secondary school, at the end of the day, could not do university until 10 years after. Yeah. So, sorry, it's not about me today. It's about parenting and insurance. But the truth is, with experience, I've realized that giving real life experience usually helps drive the point in better because it will not happen to me. It's not my portion. It's what most people say. Whose portion? The person that happened that died yesterday, did the person plan it? So you want to take out a life insurance for yourself so that when you pass on, you can leave something for your children. I have said the summary, not what I have in my notes, but I'll still read out what I have in my notes. So what is life insurance? Think of life insurance as a safety net. It could pay out a cash sum if you were to pass away while covered by the policy, or if you were diagnosed with a terminal illness and your life expectancy is less than 12 months. So while a life cover, most people will say, life cover is only when I die that it pays. A life cover will also pay if you were diagnosed with a terminal illness with a life expectancy of 12 months. I'll tell you what, some people have been diagnosed with a life expectancy of 12 months and they got their claim and they did not die because man is not God and it's probability. The doctors treat, they try, but they're not God, right? And then life insurance can help secure your beneficiaries, your children. It can help secure your beneficiaries' financial stability. What I talked about earlier, how that life will go on after you pass on. The children will still have needs to be met, right? So life insurance will secure your children's financial stability and create a meaningful legacy. They will find resources to achieve their goals, and you would have created a solid foundation to support them throughout their life's stages, even while you're not there. So that's like you, while you're not there, you are still parenting them.
Financially,
Yeah, you're still parenting them financially. You have given them that stability. Life insurance is a vital tool for financial planning. It's a vital tool. Now, I'll tell you another thing that most people do not know. It's a fraction of your total sum assured that you end up paying. It's a lot cheaper than saving, than trying to save it. It's a lot cheaper. That's the truth. We can talk about that. If you ask a question around it later, I might be able to explain more, but I need to really hurry up because if you leave me, I can speak from now till that. So life insurance is a virtual tool for financing planning. Finding coverage that meets your goals and budget can be challenging without guidance. Now, that is why we are there to help you through it. And trust me, we are happy to do it. A family lost the breadwinner in December, and by January, the wife and children got the claim from the life policy. 1 month. They didn't have to bother about burial because life insurance would also take care of your funeral and all that. Those little things that your family shouldn't really be bothering or running around for while you're not there. That's the double tragedy in it because then you're passed on and then they are looking for finance to take care of funeral. And we all know we live in the UK. We know how expensive funeral can be. They're looking for finances to do the funeral while they're thinking of how they're going to settle the mortgage if they still have quite a lot on the mortgage and all that. Now, this family I talked about, the woman had 5 children. How would she have coped? With finances from two legs is not even solid enough. Talk less when one leg leaves and the table is standing on only one. Let's not get me there. So many times it is challenging. It's a challenging aspect to find the best insurance, what works for you. That's why we're there. That's why we are financial advisors. We are insurance consultants. No one size fits all for insurance because your family is different. My family is different. Family B is different. So we'll have a proper discussion around it and then get you a tailored plan. So you're not biting off your pocket and you are able to pay what you can afford per time that would cover your family and you'd have been a happy person even after you pass on. Now I'm trying to run through this. Okay, now let's go to selecting. I've talked about selecting the right insurance. So what life insurance policy is right for me, that's something that we can help you with. Normally, knowing what life insurance policy is right for you can be really difficult to think of who and what you are trying to protect. Those are the things that, like I said earlier, what are you trying to protect? Who are you trying to protect? What do you want to do? Do you understand? So those are the things that we can help you with. If you want to ask questions around that, I'll be very happy to answer much later. Okay, now let's talk about the second part, critical illness. If you were sick today, for instance, maybe, and I know I like using myself as an example because nobody wants to be sick or die, but permit me to use you as an example, for instance, today, just for today. If you were sick and unable to work today, for instance, does your bill stop?
No.
Will the children's snacks and everything, all the things they need to do, will it stop?
No.
Will the light bill stop?
No.
life will
They
go
will
on.
even increase because I'm using it the more. I'm at home.
Exactly. And then you also need finance to pay for medical bills if you do not want to
Mm.
be on the waiting list for 52 weeks or whatever number of weeks that is there or that the doctors might give to you, right? So while the life insurance policy it's important for when you would have passed on to leave a legacy for your children and to leave something that is good enough for them to be able to maintain the standard of life that you have created for them over the years. Critical illness cover is the next most important one because when you are critically sick and you're unable to work, your bills doesn't stop coming, right? So critical illness policies will pay out a lump sum, right? Critical illness policy will pay out a lump sum if of course, the condition is part of what is covered. I won't go ahead of
Sorry,
myself.
when you say lump sum, what does
Yeah.
that mean?
So to pay out a lump sum, if you are covered for a certain amount, say £50,000 for instance, or £20,000 or £30,000 for instance,
Mm.
right? For critical illness. Now you'll be paying a certain fraction, just a little fraction as your premium every month. Then if you are critically ill and the diagnosis is part of what is covered, now different providers have different number of covers, different number of conditions. That's the word I'm looking for. Different number of conditions they cover. While some cover just 30 conditions, some cover as high as 100 conditions, medical conditions. So if you are diagnosed with any of these conditions, or you were to be sick with any of these conditions, and mind you, most of these conditions are what we actually experience eventually in life. Most of us are working 12 hours shift every day, you know. So at some point, your bone is going to complain, your body is going to complain, you know, whether you ask for it or not. You know, so if you're covered, then that for that amount, the lump sum will be paid out to you. Do you understand it? A lump sum will be
Mm.
paid out to you. Now you have that money, say for instance, £50,000, you have it in your account to settle, to pay out all the bills that you need to pay. I mean, an average worker here, annual salary before tax is £23,000,
Mm.
right? So if you have £50,000, that's more than enough.
More than absolutely.
Yeah, that's more than enough. So you have more than enough to pay your mortgage, pay your electricity, all the running expenses, all your direct debits will still be going out without you defaulting in any of them. Because nobody's going to say, oh, you're not feeling well, okay, we're just going to hold off on the direct debits until you're fine. If you're renting, you will still be paying your rent.
Absolutely.
Even if you're in the hospital for that entire time, you'll be paying the rent. As long as your property is inside and it is locked, still under your name, you'll be paying your rent. So with critical illness cover, you can have enough money to pay your bills and seek private medical care if the need calls for it. So you have enough money to seek for private medical care, and then you will be relaxed. I mean, it's much easier for somebody that has things sorted to get well soon. You don't have to add the worry of money on top of the condition.
Condition, yeah.
You know, so it's much easier. Oh, I have this money, and then my kids are well taken care of. They don't have to suffer. I don't have to call somebody. Please can you please give me £5? I need to buy. There's no food in the house. The children no. You have that much money to take care of your family for the entire period of time. You can get well soon. You will get well even sooner because you can eat anything you like. You can afford it, right? So I think I've just done a wrap up of critical illness, but I'll just read out what I have saved so for better understanding, because I mean, not everybody might have the opportunities to come for consultation and stuff like that. So critical illness cover is designed to protect you and your loved ones from the financial impact of a critical illness. It could pay out a cash sum if you are diagnosed with or undergo a medical procedure for one of the specified critical illness. That's what I mean by different providers covering different medical conditions, right? So once the condition is one of what is covered, you get that payout. And at the length of your specified, going back now, if you are diagnosed with or undergo a medical procedure for one of the specified critical illness we cover during the length of your policy, and you survive for 14 days from diagnosis. So from diagnosis to when you start to put in a claim should be within 14 days, right? Now, this is for critical illness standalone. There's a critical illness that has a life element in it. If the person were to pass on by accident or dies, like the client I talked about that passed on in December, it was just a 4 hours sickness. Complaint of chest pain, got him to the hospital, in 4 hours, he was gone, right? So if he had a life cover and a life with critical illness, that his life with critical illness would have still paid out because he has passed on shorter than 14 days. But if the person is taking out a critical illness standalone, then the person has to be alive for at least 14 days from diagnosis, and this could help pay for things like household bills, like I mentioned earlier, and childcare. I mean, things that you may not now be able to do for your children, at least you can pay somebody to help you do them, right? Or simply help maintain a reasonable standard of living for you and your family if you must take out time off work. I mean, if you have that much money, people run back to work. You see people that are retired now going back to work. It's not because they really like to work, but because there are bills to pay. There are bills to pay, So critical illness, the benefits, I think I have browsed through this already. It covers for crucial outgoings, like I said, your direct debits. If you're unable to work due to the critical illness, the cash sum from a valid critical illness claim could help cover for your mortgage, rent, other expenses, and the payout is tax-free. The payout from your critical illness cover is not taxed. It's tax-free. So you have that lump sum. So if I'm insured for £40,000, I get my £40,000, right? Wow. And guess what? It gets better. Your critical illness cover covers your children automatically in most cases. It covers for your children, but for 50% of what you are covered for, without anything happening to yours. So say, for instance, the child is diagnosed with one of those conditions, right? And there's some conditions that are specific to children and then some specific to adults. If the children were to be diagnosed with something, or a child was to be diagnosed with one of those conditions, the child gets paid out half of what you are insured for, while your own is still intact, is still full. So if I'm insured, for instance, for £50,000, my children are automatically insured for 25, which is half of it, right? And if anything were to happen to them, they can claim out. I can get a claim of £25,000 for them, while my £50,000 is still intact and running. So It is double tragedy not to have. Now, let's flip it. What if I don't have any such cover? I become sick and unable to work. I don't have, let's just say I have some savings, because if I say I don't have savings now, most people will not believe me.
Savings. How many? What can you do?
What can your savings do?
How long can it go? Yeah.
For how long can it take? Can it take you? So you want to have a life cover in place and a critical illness cover in place. Now, these policies are grouped under the essential policies. And as the word implies, essential. They are critical illness, life, and income protection. Now, income protection is not part of what I had put down today as one of what I want to talk about, because I didn't want to stay for too long, but I'll just browse through it. Income protection is that is the policy that you take, the protection that you take for when you are sick and unable to work for a long period of time. Income protection can pay for as long as 2 years. You will be getting your salary every month, even more.
So the salary you were meant to be paid if you're working, the same. Okay.
Wow. You could even get more. It depends. Now, income protection, that's why I didn't want to delve into it, because it can bring up a lot. Income protection is calculated very differently from critical illness and life policy. Because with income protection, we want to know how much, what are your outgoings? How much do you spend on food? How much do you spend on fuel? How much do you spend? So it's your total expenditure that forms the advice that we use to decide how much you would be reasonable for you to take out as an income protection policy, right? Some would say, oh no, my income will never go. I would feel unwell. People that are unwell today. I mean, I had a colleague that was away from work for 8 months recently. Some companies will pay half the salary. Some companies will not pay at all, especially contract agency companies. They won't pay not even one dime. I was speaking to a client yesterday. She said when they are sick for her agency or her organization, it's not an agency, she works full-time with an organization, say they pay 19 pounds a day against 150 something pounds a day that she's supposed to earn. She's paid 19 pounds. So if that person was to stay out of work for 6 months, how is she going to live? How is she going to cope? How would the children live? How are they going to cope? Then the mental health will explode, because you won't be able to handle it. There'll be so much. Now, even the Bible says money answereth all things. So you want to plan to have money to take care of yourself and your children, to get well, to concentrate on getting well. You want to be able to pay for what you cannot do for your children. Pay for somebody to come and pick them to school. Pay for somebody to babysit them, to do something that you're not able to do for them because you are not feeling well. And then you can heal and get well faster. Now, when the doctor says to stay on bed rest, you will truly, truly stay on the bed and rest, and your brain will not be on rest, because it can be on the bed resting while the brain it's not resting. So I think I've touched basically most of what I planned for today. Like, I did majorly summaries. I mean, initially when I started reading out, it looked like I was talking over your head, right? So I had to summarize it. So yeah, so that's it. So how much does life and critical illness cover cost? Everybody wants to know. Yes, you have been telling me about this car. The car is fine. I agree now. I know. How much is the car? Right? So how much does life and critical illness, or any other policy for that matter, cost? Now it depends. The amount you pay can vary widely between individuals. So that's why I said no one size fits all as far as policy is concerned, right? So to get an idea of how much you could be paying, it's best to get a quote. These are some of the factors that will determine the cost of your premium. Some of the factors, not all of them, some. Your smoking status, including previous history of smoking in the last 12 months, could impact your premium. Your age, the younger, the better in life for everything. The younger, the better. But nonetheless, the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The next best time is today. The next best time is today, because the next 10 years, if you have not planted a tree, then you've lost the opportunity to have grown a tree. So while age is a factor, whenever you are ready to take it, as in right now, you are okay. All right. Of course, you'll be paying more for not to have taken it much earlier. And then the amount and length of your cover, the total amount of your cover. Some people are covered for 100,000, some are covered for 50,000, some are covered for 300, some are covered for 1 million pounds. 1,000. Yeah. Wow. 1,000. Your children will just go to school and be passing their exams. They know that their future is settled.
Like that 1 million, how much will be their cover?
No, it's not. How much will be their payout? Their premium. Premium.
Yes, their premium. Yes.
It will depend on the age, health, smoking, and all that. So it will depend. It will depend. So while one person can have 1,000 pounds cover and is paying XY amount. Another person can have the same £1,000 cover and be paying WQY amount. Depends on the age and the
Other
health
factors. Yeah.
smoking status, and then your health status, like I said, health status and lifestyle, including your weight and family medical history. Those are factors that can affect. Then your job, what kind of job do you do, the occupation? And there are some persons that are doing some occupations today that they should have taken out their policies since like before they even started the job, but they're just doing such hazardous jobs and they don't have any policy in place, and they're living every month as we pay salary. You don't have anything in place for when you're not there. You're a responsible parent if you're doing a good parenting job, if you have things in place for when you are not able to work like you are working, like we are talking today. There's some persons that become so ill they're not even able to hear their own voices to speak. So those are the things those are factors that could affect the cost of a policy. Okay, then how do you buy an insurance? There are two ways to approach buying an insurance: directly through an insurer or through independent agents or commercial brokers. For instance, I am a full panelist. What that means is I have access to different insurance companies in the UK, so there's no monopoly. So you can, I'm not selling one product to you. I could give you different options so you make an informed decision for when you want to buy your insurance policies. And then through an agent, blah blah blah. Those are the stuff I just talked about earlier. And thank you.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. I hope you guys can still hear. I hope you guys heard what I heard. I hope I was not the one that heard all of this. If you heard anything, please put it in the comment section. What is that one thing that you heard? What is that one thing? Put it in the comment section. Let's hear you. And also, if you have question for Sandra Good, please put it in the comment section. She's very happy to take one or two questions. So thank you so much, Sandra. That was so loaded, honestly, and I felt the passion. I just felt it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate.
You're
Wow.
welcome, baby. Thank
So
you. Thank you for
insurance.
having me.
While you were talking, my mind was just telling me like this insurance of a thing. It just wisdom, like it just demands wisdom
Yeah.
because it's foolishness for you not to do these things
Mhm.
because the advantage you cannot even compare it to what you tend to gain,
Exactly.
what you tend
Exactly.
to lose. So
Exactly.
it just
Exactly.
wisdom. And whenever we talk about parenting, we always say that intentional parenting requires wisdom. It takes
Wisdom.
wisdom,
Wisdom.
to parent your child.
Mhm.
And these aspects that we've
Mhm.
talked about is
Mhm.
wisdom. If you
It
don't do
is.
anything about it today, you'll be on your own. You know
Yeah,
how
yeah,
UK
yeah.
is.
Yes, nobody would
So,
dash money. You can
yeah,
you can
UK.
you can only do GoFundMe, and GoFundMe can only you can only
How
hope.
much?
But you are better
Yeah.
off planning. I mean, you're better
Yeah.
off planning. You're single, you plan to marry, do it already. You're married
Mm,
already, do it already. You're a single parent, do it already. I was in a seminar yesterday, permit me to just share a wee bit. I
okay.
was in a seminar yesterday in Glasgow, right? It was with one of the providers that I consult for. And one of the stories they shared was about a single mom that had two children, and she had lost a child before. She lost one of her children, so she was left with one, and then she was pregnant and she lost the child before. And then by the time she lost the child at I think 26 weeks, and then by the time she got pregnant again, before she got pregnant again, she took out an insurance to cover for when she's pregnant, a life insurance that and a critical illness insurance that includes pregnancy, because she can also be covered. And then when she fell pregnant again, she called her advisor to ask, hope everything is in order in case she passes on, she doesn't make it, because the one before that time was really terrible, just to be sure that her child, the one she was leaving behind, would be well taken care of. And advisor checked and said everything was fine. And then she got pregnant. She she continued, of course, with her pregnancy. And unfortunately, somewhere along the line, complications came up and she lost the pregnancy again at about less than 30 weeks, you know. So she was able to get some claim for all the period that she had to be at home with her little one, taking care of her. She was able to get some claim to take care of herself, take care of, so she's not grieving. Of course, money cannot bring back the child that she has carried in
Yeah.
her womb for a good number of weeks, right? But the fact that she doesn't now have to start thinking of going back, rushing back to work because she needs to now take care of the younger one, the one that the only one she has at hand, was something. And then another thing we don't always talk about is most insurance companies give support behind the scene, beyond what your premium, what you're covered for. Some insurance companies have access to free medical. There's a question
Yeah.
there. You have access to free consultation over the phone, free nurses. You can get. Somebody was saying how that she forgot her prescription and she was traveling, and she remembered quickly and called her insurance company's free consultation line, and they were able to. By the time she was getting to where she was going to, a prescription was already waiting for her.
Oh
At the
wow.
pharmacy.
That's
So
that's kind of them. Mm-hmm.
yes, it is. So it is beyond just taking out a policy. There's a background care with some providers. Now that's where you get when you relate with the advisors, we know them, right? Those that have some really good duty of care.
Wow,
So
that's
do
good.
you want to ask
Yeah.
the question?
Yeah, so we have a question from Ukeme Oko. Do you get a claim if the insurance is not used?
So if the insurance is not used, what you probably mean is if the person does not die, I should think,
Maybe die
or
or
if
did
the
not
person is
have like
not, or
critical,
the
there
person
is
does
no
not have
sickness.
critical illness.
Yeah.
So remember I said much earlier that insurance is that thing that you have, and it's better you have it and not need it than to need it and not have it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the question. So it is you don't get a claim if if you're not ill, or if the condition is not covered. You don't get a claim. It's like your car insurance. You pay for car insurance every year. If you don't have an accident, does your car insurance pay? No. But when you do have an accident, do you have that peace of mind that you have insurance? You don't have to pay out of pocket. Do you understand? So that's what insurance is about. Insurance is risk transference for if it happens. My Urobo nature just came up.
Yeah, bring it out.
That if it happened, Yoruba would say if it shele, what do you have the shock absorber? Do you understand? If you get into that bump, do you have the shock absorber? That is what insurance is about. Now, if you have a life cover, for instance, for up to age 80, once you celebrate your 80th birthday, you have outlived the cover. You get the claim if you pass on while your policy is intact, is still ongoing. So some persons can take up to 90 years. 90 is the highest you can take age-wise. Otherwise, you can go for whole of life. Whole of life means anytime you die, even if you die at 120, 150, your family still gets the claim, right? So it depends. The longer the length, the higher the premium, right? So some would say, I don't need this for more than 70 years. I mean, by the time I'm 70, my first child is 40 something. They're already up and about, So that person has secured the future of the children when they were children, when they depend so much on you. What will happen to me, to my children, for instance? They're just 10 and 8 if I was in there. They can't walk. They can't fend for themselves, So, yeah.
Even if they can work, so even if they are 20, do you know the stress, the pressure, when they're supposed to be focusing on their studies?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
it's not even advisable at all. Please,
so
it's
no.
not something one should
Yeah.
even think twice about.
Yeah.
No.
To answer your question, I hope I answered, okay, man. No, you don't get a claim if you don't use it, if you are not diagnosed. So I personally, my critical illness policy, I'm praying never to use it because before I will use it, that means I have a condition in that my policy covers, right? But that's not for me entirely to decide. As much as I'm trying to live healthy, if anything then happens, I have that to fall back to, at that minor, very tiny amount, in fact, ridiculously tiny amount that I'm paying. I have that assurance that if anything were to happen to me, I can fall back to 50,000, 60, or whatever it is that I have somewhere in form of insurance. You're very welcome, Okon. I'm happy to answer more questions if you
Okay,
have.
so I have a few here.
Mhm.
So you explained to us using a family member that died that passed, is it January, right? And you
Yeah,
said they were able to
December.
get it, I think December, and then by January they got their claim.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and that was just like a month interval. So is
Yes.
it applicable to others or everyone that is insured, or just for certain, or
You
it
are very
depends on the
intelligent.
hospital?
You are
Okay.
very, very intelligent because you see, now this is
Okay.
question we would have browsed through it and would have missed something, right?
Mhm.
So it's not applicable to every claim. That claim was that fast because it was placed in trust. It was
Which
placed
one
in
is
trust.
trust again?
Yeah. So discretionary trust. That policy was placed in discretionary trust, and we can help you do that. In fact, there's no policy that I enter that I don't place in trust. It's a matter of whether the client likes it or yes. It's not
So,
or not. Now, trust
okay.
is a document, right? Trust is that document that you have that document that the owner of the policy can name their beneficiaries. Okay, so the policies name their beneficiaries, so it's not left to government to decide on who is the right beneficiary, who is the next of kin. Those many you need to prove this, you need to prove that, you need to prove so there's nothing to prove. This person's name is there, the person's details are there, the insurance company has the information, the file is there, the document, paper document, legal document is there. It's just as easy as going to a house and opening the door. Do you understand? The reason it even took that 1 month was to know, ascertain the cause of death, because non-disclosure is something that can stop you from getting your the policy claimed. Non-disclosure. Now, this is where the risk of taking out policies online comes in, because it's not as detailed as we would. I'll tell me anything you can remember, anything at all, because non-disclosure, it's a no-no for insurance. You cannot say your car has a reverse camera when your car does not have. Do you understand? And we know that just like for car insurance, the more safety features the car has, the cheaper your insurance. Do you get it? So insurance companies are there to pay you, right? They are also there to make profits, to protect themselves. You understand? So yes. So if you place the policy in trust, it is quicker to claim. A policy that is not placed in trust can take up to 6 months to claim.
Okay.
It can take up to 6 months to claim, and that policy could be subject to inheritance tax. That policy could be subject to inheritance tax because it's not a gifted policy. It was not placed in a gifted trust, discretionary trust, which helps you, which removes that inheritance tax hassle there, because that's the reason why it could take up to 6 months, because the government wants to ascertain your estate. How many houses do you have? How much do you have in account? How much do you understand? So they can then add it all up to your life policy, how much it is, the total sum assured, and then all the yada yada yada. Then they will not decide, okay, you have crossed the threshold of non-taxable inheritance, and then you will not be taxed. And you can pay as high as 40% inheritance tax.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's the
I think
question. So
there's
it's not.
there's there's a whole lot. So
Yes.
in regard to that, there was a family friend then before he had what they call it, unexpected death. But before he passed, he was on life insurance, and his first wife, it was his first wife's name that was as the first of what's it called?
Trustee. A trustee.
Yes. So then before he passed, him and they were not together again. He already married someone else. And then they needed money very quickly to do the burial, like you said, and everything. But they couldn't because the what's it called?
The
Next
first
of
wife.
kin was, so there was just a whole lot. The bank did not, and the bank too was not ready to disclose. And in fact, as at last year, they didn't claim the money. I've not asked again. I've not followed up. So in that
Yeah.
regard, what would you do? So because it would literally be like everything the man have paid will
Yes,
just go.
so
What would that
that's another reason. Excuse me, that stuff that we talked about earlier started. I
all right?
promise I'm okay.
At least it tried since.
That exactly. So that's another reason why you need to get an advice, have an advisor. It's like you have a consultant. Like when you have a consultant gynecologist, for any changes that happens in your body, you want to call your gynecologist, see what's going on. Do you understand? So at the point that guy remarried, his trust documents should have been amended. Should have been amended the moment he was divorced. Because like I said, the trust document is a legal document. It's a legal document. Forget that they are no longer married. Do you understand? But her name is there on the estate. Yeah, it is what it is. Do you understand? He should have amended his doc. So that's why we always do from time to time reviews with any life changes. I'm not marrying this person again. No. We'll know what to do to help you. Oh, and I have 3 children. No. Is the cover I took when I had only 1 child, is this still sufficient for now that I have? Do you understand? So that's why there's that. It's a lifelong review relationship. It's a lifelong relationship. So that's why somebody during our seminar yesterday, they said that we don't make noise. We don't talk enough about this profession as in our professionalism. We don't talk so much
I think
about it.
so because the importance, like it's
Yes.
supposed to be everywhere,
Yeah.
everywhere you see it, and because
Mhm.
it's so important.
Yeah.
What
We
you
don't
said,
talk.
it is
We
very
don't talk
important.
so much about it because it's a
Yeah.
lifelong thing. So if he had
Mm.
changed his document, in this case now, lawyers are going to be involved. There's going to be it's going to take a long period of time. It is what it is, unfortunately. It is what it
And
is.
also, yes, a lady too was advising still during this case that sometimes again, the insurance company, sometimes they come up with, policies and all of that. They change policies every now and then. And sometimes you've done the insurance, your mind is just, every month your direct debit. And sometimes you might not even know that policy that they change has maybe affected you in one way or the other. And God forbid, by the time you need it, you might not, because of the policy that was changed that you were not aware of. Because a woman too shared her own real life experience in regards to this. So how do we handle or tackle this
That's another thing.
incident? Yeah.
Getting it through a consultant. Getting it through a consultant, we can help you choose which ones. It's for all my clients, I put them on level 10. Level 10, guaranteed level 10 is there. It's there on the system. Guaranteed level 10. What that means is nothing changes with that policy.
At all, nothing at all.
Nothing changes with that policy. It is guaranteed. It is a level 10. It's not increasing. It's not decreasing. It's not reviewable. It's the reviewable policies that has those changes that can come up here and there. You are not able to keep up with it. You are safer to get a guaranteed level 10. It's there. During consultation, you see it. Our screens are shared. You see what you're doing per time. It's there. So getting a guaranteed level 10 is getting peace of mind.
Mm.
Because some persons will say, and what if I have 300,000 pounds, I'm taking it out today, and in the next 20 years, that 300,000 pounds is not the value is not so much anymore. For such person, you want to take increasing level term. But you see, the problem with that increasing level term is what you have just talked about. Do you understand? So for peace of mind,
Yeah, policy changing and all that.
yes, policy
Okay.
changing, price changing. Price
Mm.
also changes with any reviewable, any decreasing, any increasing term, price changes. It's only mortgage, the one you do for mortgage cover, that is decreasing, because as you're paying off your loan, the mortgage, your premium is also reducing, because your premium is taken with your the total sum of the total worth of your property.
Also,
That answer.
okay, meant to have another question.
Go for
Say, can
it.
you please, okay, drop your details if we need to get in touch. Please, you need to get in touch because it's very, very important.
Okay.
And
So,
okay,
maybe do you want me to drop a contact, or how do you do? How do
yeah,
what
you
do you
send
want
it
to
to
do?
me. I'll drop it in the description botton so they can get it from there.
All
Yeah,
right. Cool.
thank you
All
so
right.
much. Yeah,
No problem at
and
all.
also, this is insurance of a thing. Sometimes it takes ages, the application and all of that. So how does one go through those
It doesn't.
application
It will not take
wahala?
ages
Uh,
if you're going through it with a professional. It will not take ages, and like I said, it could take some days for us, because we have a dedicated compliance team that will double check. As professional as we are, we still have a team that their own job is to double check. In fact, their job is to spot errors. Do you understand? Their job is to spot errors, to spot something that you may have missed that can affect that client for the future. Do you
hmm,
get? And then they'll draw your attention to it, and then you get those corrected and stuff like that. While for some, it's just one way. Everything was clean, well done. In one day,
okay.
you have everything sorted. I mean, I entered some application or completed some application for some clients, and their policies have gone live already as of today, and the process only started 2 days ago.
That's quick.
So
Mm,
it doesn't take
okay,
days.
okay. And also, you said during the application, you'll be asked series of questions and regarding
Mhm,
to your health, your
mhm.
habits, lifestyle, and all of that. We determine your quote and all of that, isn't it? Now,
Your
when you are
premium.
giving them these details, or when we
Mhm,
give you guys these details, do you
mhm.
go back to like GP to confirm what we have
Yes.
given to you, or how do you ascertain the authenticity?
Yes, so that's the thing. Some insurance companies will take your word for it and believe you, even though while keying in for your policy, you must give your consent for when they need to get a hold of your medical
Mm,
file from your GP, right? You give your
yeah.
consent to that, and then they can always request for it. While some insurance companies will do their digging, they will find out, they will check to be sure you're paying. Now, I particularly like those ones. Do you know why? Because it saves a lot of future problems. They will check to see that you are paying the right amount for what you're supposed to be paying. You've not been undercharged or overcharged, as it were, you know, because you can talk about a condition that you probably don't have anymore. Do you understand? And you have been charged based on that condition. Meanwhile, on your file, on your medical records, you don't really have that condition. It's not life-threatening anymore. Do you understand?
Mm,
So some would go and actually get your details. You can request for your medical reports from your GP, because those are all the details that we take during consultation. Your GP details, your GP address, GP number, and everything. You know,
mm,
so yes, in some cases, some providers double check, and they could come back and cancel and say, you know what, we can't cover this person because
okay.
of what we have found. Do you understand? And
Mm,
then some can say,
mm,
you know what, we're increasing, we're making alteration to the policy because of what we have found. While some will take your word for it, and when push comes to shove, they will still ask for your medical reports, because before they pay at any time, your medical reports will come out.
Oh, okay.
Cause of death must be ascertained.
Mm, okay. And also, how do I put this question now?
Anyhow, can
Okay.
put it in English. Sef.
Say, I know you made mention of it. So, how do I put it now? Okay. Now, say I insure. So when we say insurance, mm, do we not have like separate insurance for our children? Must it always be, or must it always go through us? Can they not have like, say when we are insuring our life, can they not insure their life as well? Is it not possible?
Yes. You can have insurance for children. Thank you very much for bringing that. It's part of my slide. It's just one of these ones, the things that I jumped, I skipped.
Okay.
You can have critical illness insurance for just your children, for just your child. You can have covers different other types of sicknesses, right? You can't have life insurance for your child for a child until
Mm,
they are 18. In fact, 16. Some providers would give at 16. I think it's just about only one or two of them in the whole of UK that gives for just 16, but they are all open to 18 and very few for after 20. So you can
okay.
have, and then a lot of parents are beginning to also wake up to it, to um, taking the initiative of quickly taking out a policy for their children as soon as they are becoming 16 or 18 because it's cheaper at that time.
Oh, so once they
Yes,
turn 18, just, oh wow.
yes, a lot of parents are becoming wiser. It's a lot cheaper. They are healthier. I mean, what have
Mm,
they seen? Do you
not,
understand?
nothing
They've not
worries
started
them.
any youthful. Some of them have not started any youthful exorbitance or smoking
Yeah.
and all those habits. They don't
Mm,
drink, nothing. So a lot of parents are beginning to take that as a part of like savings for their children, securing
mm,
their future.
wow.
So yeah, you can have
So,
specific insurance for your children.
wow. So there's so many angles to it.
There is
And
it's octopussy.
it is. Well, I was going to
Mhm,
ask another one, that just escaped me. And it was centered around these children, I think.
mhm,
Okay, yes. So apart from critical illness,
mhm.
all of these, does children now have maybe like, is there not like maybe education cover or something like
Yes.
that?
So
Yeah.
some of the policies that you can take out, that you take out, is you that would have to take those ones out. It could be some of the metrics. The reason for the cover can be to pay for children's education. Do you
So how does
understand?
that work? Yeah.
And it's like when you're taking your life policies, for instance, you can decide
Mm.
that this is the reason I'm taking this policy to take care of the children's school. Do you understand? And then you can take some other policies um apart from life for inheritance planning. That is to, like I explained much earlier about when the money gets to a certain threshold, you need to pay inheritance tax. So some parents are so wise that they even have a backup plan for that. Do you understand? For whatever tax that the children may need to pay from their estate, they have insurance in place to take care of it. Do you get? So it's at
Mm.
the time of taking out your life policies, you can decide this particular policy I'm taking out is for my children's education.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Mm.
From so years, and then we'll run the quotes and let you know what
Okay.
it will entail. Somebody had a question. Says, "Thank you for."
You
Does that
said,
mean
does
that?
that mean that's per cow?
Yes.
Does that mean
So
that beneficiaries can be contested by the government?
well, it depends. Like I said, if it is not placed in trust, if it's just like you having money in your account and you don't have a next of kin. Do you understand? You will need to, before anybody or your wife can now say they want to come and collect that money, they will need to prove. Do you understand? So it's not like they are contesting per se. They need to prove it. It's just like the scenario you gave earlier, where the man married a second wife and has divorced the first one. but did not put the documents right, it will drag. So it's not like it is contested, but you are advised to put your policies in trust, in gifted trust. If it is a gifted trust, because it is a gift, it pays out faster, and government has nothing to do with it. It's just between the beneficiaries and the insurance companies, as long as they have that valid document. Which, by the way, the insurance companies also have a copy of it, because as soon as you fill out your trust documents, you scan a copy. You scan a copy to your advisor or your consultant, in this case, and then have a copy sent to your provider as well. But in most cases, the claim process is started, but we kickstart the claims process for the clients, because some people don't even know what to do. So again, that's another reason why there has to be a face to the name that you're consulting with. You want to have somebody you can lean on, say this, how do I go about this? How do I go about that? The consultant will tell you and guide you, so whatever decisions you're making informed decisions. I hope I answered your question, Pearl.
Yeah.
Because if the policy is not placed in trust, the government will have to now decide who is going to take care of the children. Who is going to be, who is in, how do I put it now? Who is the next person? Who is in trustee? Do you understand? How do the children benefit from this? A lot will go on in the background. And once money is involved, everybody becomes the best auntie and best uncle in the family. Give me the children. I will take care of them. So those are some of the things where the government comes in to ensure that the children, the right persons benefit from that policy.
So also, how easy is the beneficiary how easy are they able to access their consultants in terms of updates and all that? Is it like something you just pick up your phone and say, oh, this, or do you need to fill a form, or do you need to go through a process or something?
You can pick up your phone and put a call through. If the consultant is not available, you can send a message, you can send an email. All of my clients have my email address and my phone number, every one of them. So you can reach anytime. If you want to book an appointment to discuss and you feel, I can't send this through an email, or I can't say this over the phone, can have a session, a consultation. Sometimes some clients just want to be listened to, just want to feel that that's okay. I had a similar situation today with one of my clients, and at the end of the day, she said, "Thank you very much for all you do for us," and that for me was my job satisfaction. The fact that she feels like I'm really doing something for her, because she was getting worried about something that we're trying to. We're in the process of getting sorted with the provider, and she felt listened to and she was comforted. So
is that consultation, is it free or?
Absolutely, FOC.
Okay, that's
It's
fine.
free.
Thank you so much. Any more questions before we call it a day with our guest speaker? Because she said a lot. She's well explained. Thank you, from Pearl. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you so
you,
much,
Pearl.
Sandra Good. We really appreciate you. Thank you for this eye-opening. Wow. Insurance in this country. If you don't like no
This
insurance, you're
country,
in trouble. Yeah.
I know somebody that has over 10 types of insurance cover, over 10 types.
Wow.
Like, that person, anything that happens to him, he's covered for it. If he breaks a bone, he's covered for it. If he has dental problem, he's covered for it. Do you understand? If his sight becomes poorly, he's covered for it. Like, he has he has a universal cover, universal medical cover. So if he was to be sick today and the best medical care is not in the UK, his insurance company will cover the policy he's paying for, will cover for the expenses of flying him and one person to anywhere in the world. Yes, to the best medical. They just need to choose. They will fly them there, him and one person, and then pay for all the hotel, flight,
Mm.
everything. He has insurance policies in place that can airlift him if he were to have an accident somewhere outside
Wow.
the UK. Yes, and bring him back home. There are lots of policies. It's just
Mm.
sometimes, like I said, we're streamlining to this because they are much easier and they are essential. Like we said, they're just like you have essential commodity and luxury commodities. Those flying north, all those ones, we have moved to the
Let's do the
luxury.
basic first. Let's even start.
We have moved to the luxury, but get essential covers. Get essential. We are
Mm.
sitting on a time bomb if you do not have any form of essential. I mean, you're paying your tax from your salary without you even being able to detect how much that is. You're paying your national insurance. You're paying your
Car,
council
car,
tax. You're paying
common
your
car. You
council
can
tax.
insure your
You're
car.
paying
Yes, your life,
exactly.
your
I
picture.
mean, the person that is driving the car is not insured. The car is more important. Again,
My
the
God,
car insurance thing is because it is absolutely important. Otherwise, trust
like
me, some people will
compulsory.
not, because they feel like I'm a good driver, I cannot have accident. But it's not always about you. What about the oncoming vehicle? Some persons become sick on the steering. I mean, I was in a taxi the other day going somewhere, and we're discussing, and the guy was saying, we got talking, and he was the one that asked me what I do, and I started talking. I was like, insurance. Oh, you work with all the big shots in the industry. Oh, I say, well, by the grace of God. He said, insurance, I don't know, I'm a good driver and all that. I told him, I said, sir, it's not about you being a good driver or a bad driver. What about the other person on the way? People get
Yeah,
sick on the steering without
yeah,
planning it. Some people have had stroke while they were
mm,
driving and lost control of the car. Some have slumped while driving.
yeah, yeah.
So you want to be covered. You want to have, and then the fact that if you have an accident, because you have an insurance does not mean you should not go have an accident. If you have an accident and you claim, your next year insurance goes up. Do you know that
Mm.
for driving?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So what that also means is it helps put you in check to not do what you're not supposed to do, to be more careful. You're a good driver, yes, but the fact that you'll be paying higher premium next year if you had an accident this year makes you a gooder or a better driver. No, let's use the gooder. You don't want to pay higher, because whether it is your fault or not your fault, as long as you've had that impact, your insurance
Mm,
is going up the next year, and the more accidents you have, the higher it goes. So
yeah.
again, I forgot to add that life insurance pays out here in the UK even if the person commits suicide.
Oh, okay.
Yes, but the person must have paid for a certain number of time. That one I will not say. So that
Okay.
somebody will not
No,
collect
no
life
wahala.
insurance
They
and
can book
sacrificial
for consultation for that.
and sacrificial love and say, let me just do life insurance so that when it gets to that time, I'll just sacrifice. So yeah. And then some of the critical illness payout, for instance, you'll be shocked. It's even for stuff as simple as mental health. Some of the
Mm,
some of the income protection payouts. It's sometimes for mental health, it might not be like a
something
physical,
serious. Yeah. Like
know.
emotional well-being. Yeah.
Yes, mental
Mm.
health, I don't want to cut
It
my
is
tongue.
well. Maybe you can type it.
And some of the most common diagnosis around, you can get a claim out for
I hope,
income
do we
protection.
have claim for flu?
For what?
For flu.
They will not be claiming. Even the GP will not see you if you have flu. They'll just tell you over the phone, rest, drink a lot of fluid. You'll
Drink
be all
water.
right. That's it.
Oh God.
Yeah.
What a session. Any
Yeah.
last word for us? Any last word? Any last advice from us?
Okay, last advice would be, if you haven't taken out a policy yet, take one out. Like I said earlier, the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The next best time is today. And if you have taken out a policy, you're not sure what your policy covers, because the Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. Some persons
Knowledge.
have policies that would have paid them out at some point, but because they were not aware, they did not know. I've had a client call me, I'm having this condition. Is this part of what I'm covered for? Even though the documents are there for them to look to read, though. But I mean, the fact that they have me makes it easier, because I have access to this information quickly and can say, yes, you are covered for it, put in for a claim, or no, you're not covered for it. So if you already have a policy in place, you want to be sure you know what your policy covers, so you do not suffer a loss when you should have claimed. So the best way to do that, if you're not sure, is you can have your policies reviewed. I've cancelled the policy for somebody that was already running for 2 years because it wasn't properly done, and that policy would have taken them nowhere. So it's not, we don't want to cancel policies. If it is properly done and we're able to tell this and this and this, you'll be told. So get your policies reviewed if you're not sure what you're covered for, what kind of policy you have. Some will say, oh no, I have a life cover, I'm covered, until you find out that what they have is a mortgage cover. It's a mortgage life cover. If they pass on, the policy only pays the balance of the mortgage. That's it. So you want to know what your policy covers, and then you can seek for consultation, can help you review it. Again, it is absolutely free. Our aim is to make sure that your family is protected in your presence when you are unwell, and in your absence when you kick the bucket, because death is inevitable, and it is better. Last word. It is better to have an insurance in place and never need it than to need it
And not
and
have
not
it.
have it. The best time to start looking for a black goat is during the daytime.
Hmm.
That's a bonus.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you
You're
so much.
welcome. Thanks for having me, maybe.
Thank you. We appreciate your time. God bless you. Thank you for pouring your words of knowledge to us. We
Thank
are
you.
grateful. Thank you. And we hope to bring this in again. Probably you'll cover the rest of the insurance that we couldn't
Yeah,
cover
I'll
today.
be, I'll be
Yeah.
happy. I'll be happy to, because there are lots of
Yeah.
insurance. But I mean,
Yes.
let's start from beans and dodo. Let's start from basics. Let's start from drinking water, as essential as it is. Let's start from there, and then build with time as our family grows or our income improves. But to not have any insurance at all, is such a risk
Big
that
one.
shouldn't be taken at all, especially here in the UK. I mean, everything is insured. We have our phones are insured.
Hmm.
Your TVs are insured. Is insured. The laptop I'm using just now is insured. Every single thing has insurance. So that's tell you how important it is. And then you are the one paying for the insurance of all the other things, and you don't have insurance. I
Oh my
mean,
goodness.
what's the wisdom there?
I think I'll call it foolishness. Big foolishness. Yes. So for
Yeah,
someone like me, that is already insured, I have insurance, can I bring mine just for you to check and see everything is fine,
of
I'm doing
course,
the right thing or not? Is it
of course,
possible?
absolutely. Yeah,
Okay,
happy
thank
to.
you.
Happy
Thank
to.
you so
And if
much.
everything is
Yeah,
fine, I will tell you everything is fine. But I've had a client insist that I change his policy. You said you are not the one that I consulted. I told him everything is intact. I have checked it. He said, no, let's just cancel it.
yeah.
But no, of course, I did not cancel it. There's no need. You don't need to cancel if it was properly done. Or if you need to tweak it, if there's something you need to add on or take out,
Mhm.
but you may have taken it without proper consultation and knowledge. So happy
Thank
to.
you. Thank you so
You're
much for
welcome.
being so passionate and for sharing your real life experiences as well. It made it so relatable and so enjoyable. We
Thank
appreciate
you
it,
for having
Sandra.
me.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And we hope you have a lovely evening. Yeah.
I will. Thank you. And you
And
too,
your
maybe.
throat gets well soon.
Oh, well, I mean, it did improve. So, yes, it'll be fine. So that's another thing
Yeah.
with when you have insurance, the peace of mind you have. I mean,
You
I
see?
traveled. I traveled yesterday. I was out of the house the entire day. Came back at night, and first thing this morning, my husband was off. He has traveled, And up until now, we're speaking, he's not back. And one time we had to travel together. And what we told ourselves was, what if this plane crashes? Because people don't want to think about it. They don't want to. But it happens.
And it's
But
reality, because it
yes,
happens.
it happens. I
Yeah,
mean, a plane crash in America, as America can be, broad daylight. So it happens. But we just hide our hands and said they will be okay if
God
anything
forbid,
happens.
God will not
Yes,
allow it. I'm
yes, God,
divinely protected. It's not my
yes.
portion.
But it
Yeah,
happens. So you're better off planning. So the peace of mind that comes with insurance, only those that have it can tell. That's
yeah.
the truth. Mhm.
Mm. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so
You have
much.
said so well. Thank you so much. So it is
Avoid
left
double
for
tragedy.
those, yes,
Mhm,
to
mhm.
take it serious, to take action here.
Mhm, mhm. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Have a lovely evening. Yeah.
I will. You too,
Bye bye.
Dividi. Take
Yeah.
care. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Yeah. I hope we have learned one or two things. I have learned a lot. And like I always say, intentional parenting requires wisdom, and it takes wisdom to ensure your life and secure your children's future. It's a vital tool that we talked about today. So I hope we take action. It is not just about hearing, but it's about doing. What are you going to do differently today? It's just foolishness as far as I'm concerned for you to be in this country and not be insured. Like she said, it is better to be insured and not need it. I think that would be my take home than for you not to be insured and then need it. So that is my take home. What is your take home? What did you learn today? Can you please put it in the comment section? What did you learn? What was that wow moment for you? So, yeah, put it in the comment section. Let's see. I hope you enjoyed it like I did because I did, to be honest. Yeah, and then as we call it a day, I hope to see you guys all again next time. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for now making me do this all by myself. I appreciate you all. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And I will see you guys again. Bye.